Are you having problems with your first touch? Not a problem, because in this video I'll be showing you 5 simple passing and receiving exercises to improve your touch on the ball. It is crucially important to have a clean first touch on the ball because a lot of times in the game, you know what you want to do, you know where you want to receive the ball, but your first touch lets you down. But in this video I'll be showing you 5 simple drills to improve that in this video. So let's get into the exercises when you're ready. All you need for today's video is going to be a soccer ball, a wall, or a teammate to help you out. So let's get started. So the first drill that we're going to be doing is going to be the one-touch pass with a single leg. So when you're doing this drill, the technique that I want you to focus on is to always be making sure that your toes are pointing upwards when you're passing the ball. So you don't want your ankle to be sore when you're passing the soccer ball. You want to make sure that your toes are pointing up just to lock that ankle. And you also want to be making sure that you're making contact with the back of the inside of your foot. So you don't want to be making contact with the front of your foot here, right here, because it's the hardest spot and the firm spot to use when you're passing a soccer ball. The part of the ball you want to be making sure to make contact with is the center of the ball. So you want to punch the center of the ball. If the ball is bouncing, maybe a little bit higher just to kill the bounce of the ball, which again comes with repetition, but you want to be making sure that you punch the center of the ball most of the times. If it's bouncing, you can go a little bit higher, but not too high because your foot is going to get stuck here. So let's get into the drill and improve our passing with the first drill.
So as explained, you want to be making sure that you make contact with the center of the ball and you punch the center of the ball. If the ball is bouncing, you want to be making sure that you make contact with a little bit higher half of the ball to kill the bounce. But as explained, you never want to be making contact with the top of the ball because that way your pass is going to be a bouncy pass to your teammate, which is not what you're looking for. So making sure that you're always locking your ankle and punching the proper spot on the ball, which comes with repetition. One of the best ways to practice this technique is to do the drill that we're doing right now against the wall. So the second part of the first drill is to also practice this technique with your opposite foot and your weak foot. It is crucially important to be able to pass the ball and be sharp on both feet. So once you practice it with your strong foot, then you want to go ahead and practice it with your weak foot as well. When you're practicing it with your weak foot, it might be a little bit difficult in the beginning if you're a more beginner player. But if you repeat and try to mirror the same technique that you're doing with your strong foot on your weak foot, it's going to be a lot more easier for you to pass with repetition.
For the second exercise, we're going to be alternating feet this time. So we're going to be passing with our right foot and then we're going to alternate feet and pass with our left foot. So we're going to be alternating our feet every time we pass the ball against the wall. For this exercise, it is crucially important that you're always on your toes. Because when you pass that ball and when you want to switch feet, you have to be on your toes to be able to adjust to the traveling of the ball. If you're not on your toes and if you're on your heels, it is very difficult because you just pass with your right foot. It is very difficult to now adjust and pass with the left foot. You always got to be on your toes, and also when you're passing the ball one touch, you always want to be making sure that you have a low center of gravity, which helps you to have more balance. So these 2 points really help you to improve your passing and your first touch in the game. So let's get into the second exercise.
As explained in the tutorial, the key tip for this exercise is to always be on your toes, because you're constantly switching with your feet, and you're constantly switching and alternating your feet from your right foot to your left foot and from your left foot to your right foot. So you have to be sharp on your toes to be able to adjust to the traveling of the ball. A lot of players make the mistake of being flat-footed when they receive the ball, so in those situations they are not able to switch feet or alternate feet and adjust to the traveling of the ball. So always be making sure that you're in athletic position, which means you're always on your toes and your knees are a little bit bent. And your chest is also a little bit above the ball when you're in athletic position.
For the third exercise, we're practicing to opening our hips and taking our first touch into the space. So this technique is absolutely crucial, especially in the game, because you're mostly going to be needing to adjust your body to receive the ball into the space. And if you don't know this technique, it is pretty difficult to receive the ball with your furthest foot into the space. So when you're doing this technique, it is very important that you're always low and you're always on your toes, as we spoke about it before, just to be able to adjust to the traveling of the ball. It is also very important that when you receive that ball, before that ball comes to you, your hips and your body is already adjusted into the space. So if I want to explain better, one toe must be pointing to the ball and the other toe must be pointing towards the space you want to receive the ball. If you're facing completely into that direction, it is very difficult that when the ball comes to turn. But if you already adjusted your body, then it is very easy that when the ball comes, receive it with your furthest foot into the space. Even if you want to turn with the ball, you want to be making sure that your one toe is pointing towards the ball, one toe is pointing towards the space that you want to receive the ball. So this is the technique that you want to be using for this exercise.
When using this technique, a lot of players make the mistake of killing the ball in their feet. It is absolutely important that when you take your first touch with your furthest foot, you have to touch the ball into the space that you want to receive the ball. So you don't want to be killing the ball in your feet, and if you do that, then you have to take another touch into the space, which kills a lot of time for your team. So when you're practicing with this drill, you want to be making sure that your first touch goes a little bit out of your feet into the space that you want to go. You also want to be making sure to adjust your hips and adjust your body before you receive the ball. So as explained, one toe must be pointing towards the ball and one toe must be pointing towards the space that you want to receive the ball. The next exercise is going to be very similar to the previous exercise, but except this time you're using one touch only to pass the ball against the wall. So it's the same technique, but you're only using one touch. You're not touching the ball and controlling the ball. This technique really helps you in those situations in the game that you don't have time to even take a touch. So you have to be passing it one touch to your teammate. For this exercise, you want to be making sure that you're always on your toes and you're ready to adjust your body before that ball comes to you. If you want to have a clean touch on the ball, you must punch the center of the ball. And for the final exercise, you're going to pass the ball against the wall, scan before you receive the ball, which means you have to check your shoulder. And then once you receive the ball with your furthest foot, you want to turn and dribble the ball in the opposite direction that you receive the ball. So this technique really helps you with turning and dribbling into the space when the space is behind you. There's a lot of situations, especially in the counterattacks, when you receive the ball and there's a lot of space behind you. So you want to receive the ball and turn immediately. So this technique really helps you to develop that skill in the game.
So there it is, guys. That is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to let me know if you have any questions about how you can improve your first touch in soccer. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video, and make sure to enjoy the rest of your day.